It is it's a beautiful morning once again in central Oklahoma, and I'm sure glad you came here to Pop's Mother Road FBR Free Bird Report. Wanted to give you kind of an update today to kind of give you an idea of what's going on with the build. One of the things that I've discovered that I've seen in a lot of the other videos that I've seen throughout the internet is that once you finish doing the engine part, you get the engine in, you get it mounted, you get it hooked to the transmission, and you have the engine stabilized where you want it. Then it comes the inventive part. This is where you're going to have to fabricate everything. Some of the things are going to hook right up, some of the things are not. Some of the things you're going to have to order to be able to make them work, such as the exhaust for the turbo. I'm ordering on the internet a flange expander, and the HX35W turbo that I have on here has a unique flange. And if you are planning on doing a Cummins, remember it's got a unique flange. And when I say the flange is built right, but the size is off. Like if you want to do a 3-inch, which is this is called a 3-inch, it's not exactly 3 inch, it's 2 point something. And you have to make sure that it does fit an HX35W turbo. So once I got that flange and I took a look at my downpipe that I had with the Ford, I'm about that far too low with it. Now if I would have had a turbo that was setting high, doing the exhaust, flip it over, the turbo sitting high, it would have probably come out pretty close to right. But I wanted everything down low inside the engine so that I can take heat wraps and make sure that the heat wraps keep all the temperatures down. So I've gotten the manufacturing of the fabricating of the fuel lines done over here. Today I'm going to be taking the hydraulic line off for the power steering and going to take it down to O'Reilly's or to Napa, whichever one will do it. Both of them said they'll do it, but sometimes the parts aren't there. Anyway, I'm going to take it down there. They're going to fabricate a brand new hose for me. And so I'm going to be able to route that in there, not have any problem. Because if you remember in some of my previous videos, I'm not using the Dodge vacuum pump power steering combination. I have got the Ford type power steering pump that is very much smaller than that whole assembly. So I've got to get that all made up. And then pretty much that side of the engine is going to be okay, perfect. This side over here is going to be working on getting all the heater hoses, all those hooked up. I'm making sure the exhaust is all done, and also the lines for the radiator all done as they all come over and put into the new radiator that we've got. So that's what the update is today. Here we are at the front of the engine. One of the things that I'm doing right now is that I am putting in the AFC Live right here. This is the connection that goes into the mass airflow area. This is my mass airflow sensor. You've seen that before. You notice I have all my injector lines laid over because I need to get in here. Make sure, guys, when you expose your injectors, you cover them up, because the clearances in those injectors is so small you don't even want to get anything in there at all, because this is past the filters, and anything that's in there at that point is going to try to go through that injector. Could really jam up an injector. So I've got 2 holes down here I'm going to plug today. Plug these 2 holes down here. Also going to put in a new gasket for my intake. This gasket is starting to come apart a little bit, so I'm going to get a new gasket for it. I've got one already. I'll be putting it in today. And back here, this is the line that goes down to the turbo actuator, and I'm going to connect that to the AFC line also. Here's my radiator pressure side, and over here you'll see that I put a oil temperature gauge right here. Over here is going to be my return. Let me see. No, yeah, this is going to be the pressure side of the heater for the inside cab. You notice I've got those all straightened out now, and those were manufactured. These right here were manufactured by me from the existing hose and the pipe that goes underneath here for the Ford. All right. As of right now, I'm getting ready to put the air conditioner compressor down here, get it mounted up. Once I have the air conditioner compressor mounted up, and I can get these hooked up right here, then the only thing that I will really lack is putting the wires on the starter down there. And once I put the wires on the starter, then that should be out of the way for me to get onto the turbo and make that connection right there. So that's what it looks like today. Let's get to work. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the setup on the AFC Live. And first I want to show you, I've got my two connections in, one here on the manifold, the other one over here on the AFC. Okay, now I've brought my lines through. We'll get to those here in just a second. Let me show you where I brought them through. All right, the directions say you take your AFC Live and you uncoil the lines. All right, and we'll go down in here, floorboard. You'll notice I have my my previous tuner, which is a Minimax, that is here, and the Minimax is coming through. And let me show you the line. All right, I'm going to pause it here, take a picture and narrate it. All right, so those lines come through there. You see there is the grommet up in there, and I just followed the line that came through on my Minimax. Here's the Minimax connection right here. Followed that line that came through on my Minimax. Now, what the guy did on that installed this Minimax, sorry about all the movement, let me get it here. Okay, so what the fella did that installed this Minimax did is, there we go, now you can see it, is that he cut about a 1/4 inch slit down there, and that little 1/4 inch slit down there was able to expand a little bit, and I was able to get the my lines through there for the AFC Live. Now you can see the AFC Live lines coming through. Those are they, and here they are here. There's my one that has the piece of tape in it that designates which side to hook it on. Now this engine model is a 96 model, and the 96 model has a T down there in which it will modulate from the AFC and also from the MAF, the absolute pressure. MAP. So if you want to be able to take this HX35W up to 40 pounds, then you leave the T out and just hook it directly to the MAP and to the AFC. That will give you your straight control on it. You will leave the wastegate closed at all times, and you'll regulate the pressure through the AFC Live. Now they make sure that you understand that if you're going to take that wastegate function out and you're going to isolate that wastegate to where it does not open, you're going to be responsible for making sure it doesn't overboost. When you go past 36 pounds, then you'll really be pushing that turbo very hard, and it won't last long. So the best thing to do is to limit it to 36 pounds. Don't go over 36 pounds on your boost, and you'll have to do that manually. All right, so here we go. We're going to do what we need to do. And what we're doing next is we are going to take this and we're going to take as much of it through as I can, and I'm going to leave much of that line on it, so in case I ever want to sell this thing, it'll still have all the lines on it. And then I'm going to find the position for the AFC Live, which I think it's going to be on the dash. I don't know. I'm looking for a place right now. We'll take a look. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to place the AFC Live where I want it, and once I place the AFC Live where I want it, then I'm going to pull all the lines through and we'll start from there. Okay, we got the AFC line through here. One of the things that happened to me as I'm pulling it through here is it kinked just a little bit. It's not going to hurt since I'm going to put it right there on the AFC line, but nevertheless, it'll be okay. But anyway, came through the grommet down in here. And the way you do that is that you find you a spot where you can mount it, and then you bring your thin line here up, and then about, I've got about 2 feet, 3 feet, and then you take the second line and you tape them together, but there's no edge down here. Having a hard time focusing, sorry about that. Let's get it on focus. There we go. All right, so you tape it over there to where there's no place for it to catch, and then you feed it through where you want it to go. And then you lead it through there very carefully so that you don't kink the line like I did. But hopefully it'll be like mine, no big deal. Be able to get that thing hooked up here in just a second. Show it to you. All right, ready to take a look at the AFC, how we hooked it up here. All right, so I chose to keep the line, and so I've made the line bundled. It says to coil it up and put it away in a nice safe spot. This is my fuel line coming in. It's tacked onto the firewall, comes through here, and so the fuel line will never get exceedingly hot. It'll get warm, but it won't get hot. And you see that it comes back from the grommet there, and now it's hooked up here, and I left the markings on it so you would see. Here is the little piece of tape, and the instructions say that goes to your boost. Okay, and the other one goes to your AFC housing. There it is. Just so you'll get kind of an idea, remember when you have a stock HX35W or HX35 for that matter, that there is a way in which you can tee in to the old system that came with your truck, and they have the parts to do it. They send it to you. The parts, which part of the overhead is why you're paying $450 friggin' for this. So everybody carries the overhead of keeping the old stuff. But anyway, my point being, the maximum pressure that you want to try to get on these things is don't go any higher than 36 pounds. So you're going to have to limit that whenever you start boosting it. So whenever you're turning up the boost, whenever it starts hitting around 34 pounds, you want to kind of ease it off right there, because that'll tear up that old whole set turbocharger. But that's it for today. Give you an idea on how to get that thing going. We're hoping to be able to try to start this thing up on Monday. It's Thursday. We'll be working on it tomorrow, and hopefully on Monday we'll be able to crank it over once. Cross fingers. 4th of July is my projected day to drive it out. Getting close, friends. Have a good one. Make sure to subscribe down here, all right? Give us a thumbs up. And if you're over on Facebook and you're using our Ford to Chevy videos, glad to have you along. Make sure and add your video along, would you? All right, thanks.